Juan Giménez. Juan Antonio Giménez López xwãn, 26 November 1943 to April 2020, was an Argentine comic book artist and writer, most recognized for his detailed machine-like imagery. Among his noted works include stories for the French Metal Hurlant and the Italian Letternotte magazines and the comic series Metabarons co-developed by Alejandro Jodorowsky. Biography. Giménez López was born in Mendoza, Argentina. He finished his high school education as an industrial designer. He then attended the National University of Cuyo's School of Arts and Design, followed by the Academy of Fine Arts in Barcelona. While his early professional career was spent in advertising, with writing and drawing comics as a side activity, he eventually moved into comics as a full-time profession by his 30s. Giménez had started getting his own stories published when he was 16 years old in Argentine magazines Frontera, Misterix, and Horacero. His first stories for Argentine editors, such as Colomba and Record, were largely inspired by Hugo Pratt during the years he spent in Argentina and Francisco Solano López. Back to Spain, he worked for the Spanish magazines Zona 84 and Comics International, and Italian Lanciostri, Scorpio magazines. His work of this period is mainly related to war and science fiction genres. He published his first French release, Leo Rowe, The Star Conspiracy, in 1979. In 1980, he designed the Harry Canyon segment of the film Heavy Metal. During the 1980s, he collaborated with several European magazines, including Joseph Tautain's Spanish edition of 1984, the French Metal Hurlant, and the Italian Letternotte magazines, experimenting with graphical and narrative innovations. To this period dates what is ranked among his best series, the short science fiction stories known under the title of Time Paradox. Also noteworthy are Ciudad, written by Ricardo Barrero, and Le Quatrième Pouvoir, The Fourth Power, which he wrote by himself. Giménez's style has become famous for the extreme attention he devotes to technical and historical details. His series pick has been defined as a comic encyclopedia of World War II. Giménez also collaborated with important authors such as Carlos Trillo, Emilio Balcarce, and Roberto Dal Pra. One of his most famous collaborations was with Chilean Alejandro Jodorowsky for the popular Metabarons comic series, started in 1992 and ran through 2003, published by Humanoids. The work was based on characters that had appeared in Jodorowsky's and Jean Giraud's The Incal, and adapted elements that Jodorowsky had been planning to use in a film adaptation of Frank Herbert's Dune. Giménez's art for the series was praised for spanning the vast vision and range that Jodorowsky had set up. Jodorowsky said on Giménez's death, "I closely collaborated with Juan Giménez for 10 years, and together we created the Metabarons saga. What facilitated my task as we offered him to work on the complex world of the Metabarons was that he already embodied the immortal no-name, the last Metabaron. In my unconscious, Juan Giménez cannot die." He died in Mendoza on 2 April 2020 from COVID-19. He had been hospitalized since 22 March, having recently returned from a trip to Sitges, Spain, where it was believed he had been infected.